I'm Dominic Payatis with Martial Arts Unleashed, here with the legend, Muay Thai King himself, John Wayne Parr, the gunslinger. How are you doing today, man?
I'm very well, thank you. Had a good run this morning. Got some training out. Got some training. Taught some classes. So everything's good.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Wanted to hear more about your journey with Jasmine, and congrats to her on a fight this past weekend, a big win.
Yes. So what happened? She's had a bit of a rough patch. She had her last fight in Thailand, approximately January 2020, and then COVID kicked in. The world went crazy, and then the Australian government gave everyone 2 days' notice to get home from overseas.
Mm.
So Jasmine had to cut her holiday short. And then she got stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks. She wasn't able to come home. And then 7 months ago, she had to get hip surgery. She had a slight tear in one of her ligaments, plus a lot of wear and tear from all the years of training and whatsoever. And then, this was her first fight back in almost 2 years. And she fought so well. She's been doing a lot of strength and conditioning since she's come back, since the surgery. And then she really wanted to go out and make a statement. So she trained super hard, self-motivated. If I was at the gym, I'd walk in and she'd be already through her bags or through her strength and conditioning. And then fight night, all the hard work proved how much she really wanted to get the victory. So couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. I was gonna see what kind of emotions run through you seeing the next generation of Parr having that success in the ring.
Oh, that's very cool. Yes, so she started fighting when she was 8 years old. And then, so what happened when she was 7, she wanted to fight. I'm going, oh, you're a little bit young. We'll wait till you're 8. And then her 8th birthday, I'm 8 now. Can I start fighting? And it's like, oh no, you didn't forget. So we had we were doing a local show just here on the Gold Coast. So we rang the local newspaper. I said, oh, any chance you could do a little story, just so she has something for a scrapbook. Remember her first fight. So the media said, yeah, no worries. So they come and did some photos, and we did a little interview. They said, oh, do you mind if we come to the venue and we'll do a follow-up story? Oh, perfect. That'd be amazing. They said, do you mind if we bring the TV station with us, Channel 9 News? Oh, that'd be even better. How good's this? Not knowing that they were setting me up to fail. So they came in, they recorded everything. Next day, I went down to the newsagent to get the paper, and Jasmine was on the front cover of the newspaper with the caption, venue full of drunken yobbos screaming for 8-year-old blood. I was like, what is this? And then when I read the story inside, I was just like, just putrid, just nothing about the fight, just about how the father forced the 8-year-old daughter to compete in a man's world. And it's like, oh no. So I ended up being the worst father in Australia for 2 weeks. Just every media outlet, every TV station, radio station, newspaper just threw me under the bus. And then that was 2011. So fast forward 10 years, Jazzy's now 18. She's fought in Canada, Thailand, England, doing really well. And this is her first fight back, and she fought so well. So it's just, but because of that media scrutiny, there was a chance Jasmine almost retired. She's like, I don't want to. This, I'm an 8-year-old kid. I'm just doing this for fun. I don't want to be in the papers and on front covers. And now you look at the media, and it's just comical how they could try and destroy someone's life. And they're so fortunate that she carried on, and now now when the media do stories, oh, we always knew she was going to be a star. We always like, oh, hang on a second, you guys are the ones that tried to destroy us. Now we're Australia's favorite daughter. It's like, oh, get out of here. It's bizarre how it all works.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And it must be weird going from a place like Thailand where it's like, oh, 8-year-olds fighting. That's a normal Saturday for us.
Yeah, the kids are in pads. The parents are in both corners. There's a doctor there, and they're like tippy tapping. There's hardly any force whatsoever. It's just quite bizarre. And then luckily, after 2 weeks, an American, it might have been BBC from England, came to Australia to do an interview on Jasmine. And their way of thinking was, well, we want to put females in the army. We want them to be on the front line. And here we are complaining about girls competing in a contact sport where if it's a boy, we'd be celebrating. But because it's a girl, there's scrutiny. This isn't quite, there's something wrong with this picture. And then from that moment forward, everything sort of went positive after that. but before then, geez, they were doing everything they can to. It wasn't even about Jasmine at that stage. 10-year-old, 10-time world champion throws his 8-year-old daughter to the wolves. That he doesn't care for her general health and well-being. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you guys doing? But anyway, so that story's insane. Just a crazy time. But it's all out there. Happy times. Yeah. Move on.
Now it's all good things up from here.
So before we change subject.
Yes.
So Jasmine had her first fight when she was 8 years old. And then I got a son who's 13 now. He also had his first fight when he was 8 years old. And now I have a 7-year-old girl in my family. And she wants to beat the other two. So she's going to have her first MMA fight at 7. So, but we're not going to tell the media because after telling the media last time, so this one's under the table.
Gotcha.
So they got a little kids tournament in December. So she's going to jump in the cage and have her first little competition spar sort of thing, inter club. So it's very exciting that she gets to be the number one kid now.
And I know you had said that Jasmine was really self-motivated for this fight. Are kind of your whole family pretty self-motivated in wanting to do combat sports, or was it something that you were like, hey guys, why don't you try this out for me?
No, I tried to not push the kids whatsoever into the martial arts. Nothing worse than you see those fathers on the TV, and then the kids end up presenting not only the sport but the parents. So it's all their own willing. I'll wait for the kids to come to me to ask me to train them. Mm-hmm. So 2020, I had a big fight in end of 2019. I had a little bit of money, so I invested in some jiu-jitsu mats. And then we have a Brazilian professor, Daniel Almeida. He comes in and teaches our classes, and then my 13-year-old son, he's taken it to like a duck to water. He just absolutely loves the jiu-jitsu. So my Jazzy's fully into Muay Thai, but she's thinking of going MMA. My 13-year-old son is MMA. He's thinking of MMA also, so jiu-jitsu obsessed. And my 7-year-old is both Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. So the whole family is just quite surreal that my wife, myself, my kids, martial arts nuts. So we're definitely the fighting family, if you will.
I love that. And when you see them succeed, what do you think you feel happier for more? Your own success, like in your own career, or seeing your kids succeed in their careers?
Oh, it's different. It's seeing them be successful, it fills me full of pride. It's so humbling to see them work so hard. It's not just they rock up on fight day and compete. I get to see the full 10-week lead up, how much they push themselves. Like I was saying before with Jazzy and the other two, I don't have to force them to go to the gym. They'll come home from school, they'll pack their bags, they'll go to the gym. If I'm not there, they're working with the other instructors. There's no having to come on, you should be at training. They're all already there already. So and when they compete, you can see the smiles on their faces that they know that. I guess from watching my career, that they can see that from hard work you can dictate your own destiny. Mm-hmm. So and then the way that they're pushing themselves, you can see that they also want to be successful.
And that, I guess, that transitions us perfectly into talking a little about your career now. I know you recently had that bout with Nieky Holzken. Unfortunately, didn't go your way, but I just kind of wanted to see, after letting it settle for a couple of months, kind of what were your thoughts thinking back on that fight and getting to share a ring with another legend in Nieky Holzken?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. My last kickboxing fight was 20 months before in Japan on a Rising show. Mm-hmm. And then I fought a former world champion, Anthony Mundine, here in Australia in a boxing fight over 10 rounds. I won that one. And then it fast forward another year and a half to April, start of this year. So almost 2 years without competing, and then coming back from hip surgery, and then I get assigned one championship. It's like, I live in the dream. This is amazing. 40, I think I was 44 at that stage. And then, all right, so your first fight for one championship is going to be Nieky. It's like, oh no, oh geez. Welcome to the corporation. Oh my goodness, they couldn't get a harder guy than the world's number one guy. But my former Thai trainer, Seng Tanoy, he fought Raymond Dekkers 3 times,
Mm.
and Deckers used to help Nikki a little bit here and there. So out of the Golden Glory gym. So the just the fact that my trainer for it, his trainer, and there was so much history involved that it wasn't just a fight. It was getting to walk in former legends' footsteps to represent. So I'm happy I didn't get to go the distance, but I am happy that I did get to share the cage with one of the world's elite. So end of the day, win, lose, or draw, there's no name on my resume that you can't tick off and say, oh, that was an easy one. That was an easy one. Win, lose, or draw, at least I tried.
Oh yeah. And you came off of an incredible road to recovery after that hip injury. If you want to talk a little bit about what that kind of journey was, just to even get to that fight, because I know in that fight with Mundane, you weren't even you were having trouble just trying to get to that fight with the hip before. So it must have been crazy to have to recover to fight Nikki.
Yeah, so 8 weeks before Nikki, 8 weeks before Anthony Mundine in the end of October 2019-ish, I went and got an MRI on my hip, and the surgeon was saying, look, I know you got a boxing fight coming up, but you need to stop running. Your femur head is so brittle right now that your femur head might snap on one of your runs. That's like, oh, geez, that's not good. So every morning when I was putting on my shoes to go for a run, I'm thinking, oh man, I hope my femur doesn't snap on my run today. Maybe I should take my phone in case I'm half around the headland or somewhere out in the middle of the forest and my femur snaps. I might have to call somebody to come and help me. And then all I could keep thinking of, if my femur doesn't snap, it's going to make a good story. But if it does, this is the perfect excuse to pull out of the fight. So luckily it survived. I got through the fight. I won the fight. I beat Anthony with one hip, and then after the fight, the deterioration, I just went downhill so fast. I got to the stage, I couldn't even weight bear. I couldn't even take a step without my hip giving out. So I got the replacement. Because of COVID, there's a little bit of a delay, but got the hip replacement, and then within 3 months, I was back running, back in the pads, back training. And then I was back in the cage 9 months after surgery, after hip replacement with Nikki. So yeah, that's just the fact that I could get back, because before Mundine, I thought I'm done. There's no way I can be able to keep fighting. So to be able to have that second chance at life was win, lose, or draw. I got to step in that ring one more time. So that made me so happy.
Oh yeah, and I know you're a really big runner. You've gone on record saying you run 10 kilometers a day. And I saw your
16.
16. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I run 10 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 5 days a week. And then if I do that 5 days, it's 80 Ks a week. And if I do a 10-week camp, it's 800 Ks before I step into the cage or to the ring. So and then when you walk into the cage, you know you've done the work. There's no shortcuts. You can from the first round to the last round, you can go 100% without gassing. Mm-hmm. So it's all psychological warfare. That knowing that you've done the work is a good confidence builder.
And I had seen your Instagram post talking about running basically the circumference of the earth over your career. That's an impressive feat you got there right there.
And that's only the 15 years I've been at the gym at now. So you got to times that again by another 15 years. So I've probably run around the earth twice now.
Damn.
It's so bizarre when you put it in that perspective. When you think, because I looked at how much I've done. I thought, I wonder what the circumference of the earth. So I went to Google. It's like, that's easy. I'll do that twice. Yeah.
And was that an influence from training in Thailand? Because I know in Thailand they really focus on running, making sure to run for shin conditioning, for conditioning. So just tell me what are your thoughts on like that inspiration for running that much?
Yeah, in Thailand, running's a big factor. But I was doing a fair bit of running before that prior. But once I got to Thailand, that reaffirmed how much important the running was. Not only for cardio, but also for weight loss. So during the runs, you might lose in Thailand, especially because it's so hot. You might lose 2 kilos of sweat in the run, and then you lose another kilo in sweat during your pads in your session. So yeah, a good way to maintain fight weight. And then just cardio, and like I was saying before, that psychological thing about knowing you can run 10, 12, 16 Ks, get back, take 3 big breaths, and all of a sudden you're already recovered. So on the ring, that's going to pay dividends. So you hear the end of the round ding as you're walking back into the corner. You already refreshed before you even sit down. 3 big breaths, sit down, and then you can fully concentrate on what your trainer has to say. Then instead of panting and trying to recover, you're already all right. We're ready to go. So yeah, it's very important. You know, a doctor once told me majority of people when they get tired they pant. So let's say your esophagus is this long, and if you pant, you're only moving this much oxygen. So you have to take those big breaths to get that full capacity in the lungs to get that fast recovery instead of just. Otherwise, you sit there and then the bell will start. You're not even recovered yet. So yeah, it's all science. It's all helps to get that better performance in the ring.
Oh, and it's all about that performance in the ring. And so outside of running, what's kind of your other like must-do drills or daily drills that you do to ensure success in the ring?
I try and take the same philosophy that I had in Thailand back here to Australia. So I'm training twice a day. I do my big runs in the morning. I do 3 to 5 rounds on the pads in the morning. Might have to teach a few classes of PTs, and then have a bit of a break between 10:30 and 4. Have something to eat, have a little sleep, just to try and get fresh for the afternoon session. And then afternoon, smaller run but harder session on the pads, inspiring on the bag or your groundwork with your sit-ups and push-ups and everything else, and times that by 6 days a week. Yeah, it all adds up. So yeah, and then as the fight gets closer, probably that last week, I'm doing approximately 9 3-minute rounds. So I'll do 2 boxing, 5 Thai, and 2 leg shield, and just know I can go flat chat hitting as hard as I can for the whole 9 rounds, taking those 3 big breaths, recovering in between sessions, in between the rounds. And then you know you're ready. If you can pump out 9 rounds at a high pace, you can do 3 or 5 rounds quite easily. So yeah, it's all trying to bluff yourself to know that you've got the cardio in the bank to go hard the whole entire fight.
Oh, definitely. And I trained Muay Thai as well, so I definitely know that cardio is one of those things that like I even struggle with, and it's really important to keep training that and keep working that. So hearing that coming from you, I mean, it just affirms it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I don't want to be the guy that the last round step off the gas. I want to go all the way. I want to be punching as the final bell rings. I don't want to be that guy that sort of, all right, I think I got this. So I'll take my time. I'll just play safe. Sort of like Jasmine did on the last fight. There's no point. There's no point. Just you're getting paid to entertain the crowd, so they want to see action from to the final bell. So if you can get someone against the ropes and punching away, and then hear ding, then there's no excuses. Then.
Oh no. As a coach and as a fighter, in what opinion do you think is like the most underrated or underworked technique or drill that really can elevate somebody's game when going into a competition?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. What I found has been helpful for my career in boxing and Muay Thai is aggression. So if you can walk forward and not be afraid of being hit, you might have to take 1 or 2 hits to give 4 or 5 hits. So just tuck that chin down, keep those hands up, and just break people's will. I find that if I get in someone's face and I'm constantly throwing, I might not be landing, but at the same time, I'm not giving you an opportunity to breathe. So I'll so many times I've seen fighters. So as an example, they come at round 1 and I'll try and stare you down. And they'll be all hard and physical. In the second round, they're sort of got that confidence, but a little bit sort of timid. And by the third or the fourth round, you see them starting to walk backwards, and you see the look in their face where you know physically, I've got you. I've broken you already. So all I've got to do is maintain that pressure, and you're done. And then I've had when I was boxing, I've had 14 boxing fights, 11 wins, 10 knockouts. And then 4 of those stoppages were from guys breaking their hands on my head. So, yeah, not physically me not winning by knockout. It's more so them giving up in the corner saying, I can't continue. My hand's done. It's like, yay. Yeah. It's not quite as rewarding as the scoring of like an awesome knockout, but at the same time, a win's a win. So if they break their hands on my head, it still counts, I guess.
I mean, a win's always a win.
Yeah.
So with that aggression, would you say that's also a bit of a psychological aspect to that game? Like if you can get into an opponent's head and be like, I'm not going to back down, do you see that playing a role in getting into those deeper rounds?
Oh, for sure. Breaking people's will is one of my specialties. Just constant pressure, especially when I was boxing, because boxers aren't used to that Muay Thai aggression. They're used to staying on the outside, sticking and moving, throwing out the jab, whereas you're just constantly, brah, and then there's no room for them to get their own big breath in, or they're constantly defending, and even throwing, it still takes energy to absorb punches. Um, so, and then end of the round, and they walk back to their own corner with their tail between their legs, thinking, "Oh no, I got to go back out there again." So it's yeah, aggression is such an underrated tool that yeah can definitely psych somebody's out that they thought they were going to beat you, but once the bell rings, they soon realize, oh no, this is real now, and I can't escape. Like I'm stuck, and I'm getting hurt.
Oh, definitely. So I kind of want to throw it back to a little bit earlier part of your career, and start off asking, like, I know you got started with Taekwondo originally in that in a Taekwondo studio, and I want to see, did that influence you in your career, knowing the Taekwondo kicks and learning that technique first? Did that help you or hurt you in your career in Muay Thai?
Oh, it must have helped, because I didn't even know what Muay Thai was when I first started. I didn't even know what Taekwondo was really. It just happened to be the closest martial art to my house when I was a 11-year-old kid. So I went to this hall. Oh, we do Taekwondo. Oh, sign me up. So I did my first class, and everyone was in a gi, and I was at the back with my normal clothes. And first class, oh, this is amazing. This is so cool. And then after Mum realized how much I enjoyed it, we got my first gi. And then when you hear the crack of the sleeves of the gi when you throw your punches, I was like, oh, I'm now a superhero. This is amazing. So I did that for approximately a year and a half. And then when we went to Thai boxing, I tried to maintain the same sort of kicks. Not so much the flicky round kicks, but more so the jumping crescents and the spinning backs, and just to keep it exciting instead of just the typical tips and rounds. So to add that little bit of flair. So let's say it's the last round, I'm winning. I want to try and entertain the crowd. So if I can pull off a back kick or a jumping back kick or a spinning heel, it just makes the crowd get up on the edge of their seat. Oh, so yeah. And you want people. I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're the first fight of the card or the main event. You want to put on such an exciting performance that when people leave the venue, everyone's talking about your fight. The main event might have been amazing, but how was that third fight? And like when that guy threw all those kicks and how aggressive he was, and you want to steal the show. So, and then next time when they come back, they bring in 3 or 4 or 5 new friends with them as well, and then the promoter can see, oh, this guy's a draw card, so he might give you an extra 1,000. Then all of a sudden you're pumped up to the semi-main, next to me you're the main, and then all of a sudden the money starts coming because they know that they can sell tickets because of your exciting style. So it's all got to do with entertainment. Fighting is the easy part. Entertaining is the hard part.
I guess that leads perfectly into like how important is it as not only a fighter but as like almost like a performer. I mean, people are paying money to come see you in a ring. Does that kind of play in your mind a little bit?
Yeah, I thrive on it. So when second fight with Lumpini was going to be on Thai TV. So me and my Thai friend, we thought, oh, what can we do that's going to be really cool? So we were thinking about the Ramui, and then the pre-fight dance, and then instead of shooting the bow and arrow, we thought, what about if we shoot 2 arrows, we throw the bow and arrow away, and then we'll draw 2 guns, and we'll start doing some gunslinging. So I did that for the first time live on Thai TV in front of a full house at Lumpini, and ended up getting a standing ovation from all the Thais. And it's like, whoa, this is, and then you can imagine the fight hasn't started yet. I'm sitting in the corner going, holy crap, they liked it. I can't believe they liked it. This is so cool. Which gave me more energy for the fight, because all of a sudden, I wasn't just a Westerner. I got accepted as one of their own with a slight Westerner twist on there. So, but yeah, and then the next time I fought in the Penny again, did the same, something similar, and then got the standing ovation again. So then And then at the King's birthday, there's approximately 100,000 people in a park. You're familiar with the movie Kickboxer?
Of course.
So you know at the start when Dennis Alexio is kicking the pads and Van Damme's like and then Dennis is like none of that tip tap shit. So I fought in that park 4 times, and then you get over 100,000 people come to that park to celebrate the King's birthday and have fireworks and all these different activities. And there's a ring in the middle that have the best Thais versus the best Westerners. And then the last few years that I fought in it, I was getting a bigger round of applause after my Thai dance before the fight than the Thais were. And it's like, what's going on? This is so bizarre that the Thais are appreciating me for being here. I don't know, just because I could speak Thai, fight Thai, act like a Thai, and all my mannerisms were Thai. I think they accepted me as one of them. So when I fought, they let me know that they were on my side, which was, especially when you're fighting a Thai in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
To have them cheer for you, it was so humbling and such a priceless moment that I wish I could capture forever. It's like really cool.
And for those of us, especially in America, who may not be familiar with kind of the energy that shows up in those stadium shows like Lumpini, could you just describe like what that energy and what that atmosphere is like in those arenas?
Well, the arenas are good, but the King's birthday, 100,000 people. It's so you have to park the car half an hour away from the park, and then once you get to the park, everyone's shoulder to shoulder. So you got to try and walk to everyone. Excuse me, for like half an hour before you get to the changing room tents, and then you have to get a police escort again from the training room tent to the stage to get through the crowd to try and work your way through, and then walking out into that ring, and then just looking out to see an ocean of heads of 100,000 Thais as far as you can see. It's like so mind blowing that you can't comprehend in the words until you see it with your own eyes. It's like there's a lot of bloody people here. And then and like I was saying before, 100,000 Thais, and you're fighting the Thai champion, and you're the white guy in their country fighting their sport, and then you win, and then everyone comes up to the ring afterwards, and everyone wants to touch you and feel you. And this is before the iPhones were coming out then, so back in the old Kodak days with the film cameras. But it was just so surreal to not only be successful, but to be appreciated by the Thais for pretty much giving my whole life to their sport. So yeah, it was very rewarding.
At what point did you feel like accepted by the Thais, and what were those emotions like to feel like, oh, I can be one of you and show my own, that I can hang with the best Thai fighters that are out there?
I never felt that there was any discrimination or anything like that. I always felt accepted. But the more that I did, and the more that I fought on the Thai TV, and the more that I made the newspapers and the magazines, it just seems like when you walk into the stadiums, the Thais like give you a little wink of acknowledgement or a little nod. And I remember the first time I was fighting at Lumpini, there's a famous Thai boxer called Nam Kabun, super duper star, and he was fighting the fight before me in the main event. Then they had like a few fights after the main event just to get the Thais get their money back, whatever else. And I remember as he just defended his Lumpini belt, and as he's coming down the stairs, I was waiting at the bottom of the stairs to go up, and he's giving me a high five. Good luck, little brother. And it's like, holy crap, this is so surreal. Just the fact that I touched his glove, let alone having to go and compete now, is I'm already happy. I don't have to compete. But yeah, I always felt, and then where I lived as well, where I lived in Bangkok, there was no Westerners. So I go months at a time being the only guy in my town where Thais had never seen Westerners before in the flesh. So if you went to the shopping center, a kid would tug on his mum's shirt jacket and go, "What is that?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's just a Westerner." There's lots of them out there outside of Bangkok. So, and then I slowly started picking up the language. And I got to the stage where I could speak about 90% Thai now. So you go to the street and you're bartering with the Thais and you're talking and you just they're so friendly. You start conversations with strangers, and Yeah, and then in the morning, sometimes I'd be running by myself, and as cars driving past, I flash the lights and beat their horns, and just getting that acknowledgement that everyone knew that I was a fighter. So it was just, yeah, very special time.
And how long did it take you to actually learn Thai?
Uh, I started just with the basic words: hungry, sleepy, shower, training, food. And then the Thais would send me on to the shops with sentences. So, Pom Donga Nam Kang Nung Tung, I want one bag of ice. And just trying to remember. And then all of a sudden now I've got a sentence. I could change the last part to I want rice, water. I've got a sentence now. And then every day I try and learn 5 new words. So what's this? What's this? What's that? And then I go to sleep trying to remember. Next thing I need 5 words. And then, yeah, before I know it, I could understand 20-30% of conversations and start picking up. The funny part was, so someone would be talking to you and you'd have no idea what they're saying, but you just nod as if you knew, but like you were cool. And then they'll give you a weird look and then you go, I mean, and just you have to wait for the right reaction. I'm agreeing on no, yes, no. And then eventually, when you get the right facial, that's the one they need. So yeah, it was quite very, very hard when you're sitting at a table and you hear your name and you know they're talking about you, but you have no idea what they're saying, and everyone starts laughing. It's like, ah, damn it, yeah. But then, but now I'm quite fluent in Thai, so it makes it a bit easier now. They can't talk shit about me anymore.
uh, I would hate to be the guy who got caught talking shit about John Wayne Parr in Thai.
Ooh. So when I was in I was back in Thailand in the 90s. So before iPhones, before internet, there was no emails, there was nothing. So the past time, I listened to the favorite songs in the gym. So I went and bought the famous music CD, and I put it in my little cassette player or the CD player, and press play, press pause, and with a pad and a pen, I'd write down in English what they were saying: Pom, P-O-M, Dongan, D-O-N-G, G-O-R-N. And then I'd write down the whole, and then I'd try and memorize it like karaoke. And then when we would go to Thai karaoke nights, I'd be the only Westerner in the club. It'd be full of 1,000 odd people in the club, and I'd put my little name down for a song, and the Thai would look at me. So, you know this? Oh, you touch me. I got it. So then there'd be no one on the dance floor, and I start the song, and 2 or 3 people would start coming in, and then 4 or 5. Next minute, the whole dance floor would be full by the time I finish my song. And then the guy running the karaoke goes, "You know any more songs?" Mate, I know the whole album. And he goes, "You want to do another one?" So I ended up doing like 3, 4, 5 songs in a row. And then everyone's like, "You!" And then especially when you're the white dude singing Thai songs to Thai, it was like so crazy to see everyone having a good time. And just the fact, I didn't even know I was saying the words right or not. As long as I kept the harmony, everyone just happy to play along with me. And so it was very cool.
Honestly, that sounds like a great time. I would want to be at a karaoke club with
Yeah.
hearing that.
Well, you can imagine when the Japanese come to Australia or wherever and they do the karaoke and the words like a bit, that's a bit rough. But so I'm probably their version of the Japanese coming here. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know in Thailand, there's like Muay Thai as a sport has just kind of an aura of respect and reverence amongst everybody. What has that done to help influence you and like influence your love for the sport?
Ooh. Just the fact that it's a national sport over there is just to be accepted. Because in Australia, you tell people you're a Muay Thai fighter. This is back in the 90s, and everyone just look at you like with a weird, it's kickboxing. And they sort of have an idea. Oh, that's cute. Like karate. Oh, you're a karate guy. And then I had 14 fights here in Australia. I was lucky to win an Aussie title and a South Pacific title, which was enough to impress my sponsor enough to send me to Thailand. And once I arrived, I realized, holy crap, this is the real deal. This is so cool. It's a national sport. People are training 5-6 days a week full time, living in camps, and then you live off your prize money, so you don't need a part-time job to survive. You're there to only train, eat, sleep, and fight. And then just that lifestyle was just, for me, it was perfect. get the train, have a sleep during the day, get the train again in the afternoon. There's no outside distractions with having to worry about girls or work or anything. Everything's just focus on being a champion. And then over there, back when I was there was a newspaper that came out every single day. There was only Muay Thai newspaper. And then they had the magazines that come out 2 or 3 times a week as well. And every TV station had their own 2-hour Muay Thai TV show. So Thursday there was a show, Friday there was a show, Saturday there was 2 or 3 different shows, Sunday there was 2 or 3 different. So you're just submerged in Muay Thai, just overload, and the style and the technique and the tenacity and just the power of these guys. Just you're watching going, how am I supposed to fight these guys? These guys are not human. They're like the Terminator. Even though they're getting kicked and cut and broken, they still keep walking forward and keep throwing with bad intentions. And it's like, oh, these guys aren't normal. And then the more you live there, the more you want to try and emulate their style and not be that Westerner. Because so many times I'd be in the camp and on TV, a Westerner would come over and they get the slightest little cut and they'd give up on their stool and their Thais would just humiliate them. No, I didn't want to be that guy. If I got cut, I wanted to come forward and I wanted to prove that even though I was cut, I could still win, just like the Thais do. And I think that gave me a lot more leeway with the Thais also. No matter how hurt I was still be able to push forward and still trying to win instead of giving up win, lose, or draw. As long as you fight 100%, you won't lose a single fan.
Definitely. And now that you're in this stage of your career, how does it feel to almost be like an inspiration to so many Westerners who are now going to Thailand to do what you did and spend years training at in the same gyms with the Thais and really learning the full respect and love for the sport?
Yeah, it's very humbling. I remember I was the first Westerner to live full time in Thailand. A lot of Raymond Deckers, Danny Bills, they'd come for maybe a month, go home again, go a month, come home again. And I was there like the whole time. And then even my Thai trainers like, you're the only one. No one's doing what you're doing. You're gonna be remembered for sure. And just the fact the Thais are very big on prize money. One of the first questions I asked is how much money do you make per fight? And when I first got there, I was making 1,000 baht. And then once I signed with Songchai, 10,000 baht. And every time you win, your prize money goes up. So 15, 20, 30, 40. And then my last big fight, I won 70,000, which was pretty good for Thais. And then I was very lucky in 2004. I won that 8-man tournament where I won 1 million baht. So going from 1,000 baht a fight to 1 million baht a fight. And then when the Thai say, "Oh, how much?" and you say 1 million, they're like, "Wow!" It blows them out of the water. So it's
see, there we go.
They're back. So it's almost like a status of how much money they make per fight to show you where you are and credibility. Mm-hmm. So to say you're 1 million baht, they're like, "Oh!" So yeah, there's no ifs or buts. When you say you got that much money, then they know you're legit.
So now we've got a couple of questions that the fans have sent in preparation for this interview. They really wanted to ask you some questions. So we've got a couple here for you. First one is, what does success mean to you?
Success. Just being able to fulfill your dreams. So I wanted once I started Thai boxing at 13, I remember watching the movie Kickboxer not long after. And here is a guy going to Thailand, fighting the Thais and becoming revered in Thailand. It's like, from this moment forward, as a 13-year-old, I don't just want to be just a regular world champion fighting a guy from down the street for a world title. If I want to be considered a legit world champion, I have to be the Thai. This is at 13 years old. This is before I even knew anything. I've got to be the Thai. If I want to be a legit and not a laughing stock, I have to be the Thai for the title. And then I was so lucky that after all my time in Thailand, I ended up winning two world titles in Thailand. And then actually won another 2 with Thais visiting Australia. So out of my 10 world titles, 4 against Thais and 2 were in Thailand. So I got to live my dream multiple times over. So I'm very happy.
That's awesome. And following on that same train of watching movies and TV, one of our followers wanted to know if you watch any anime on your off time.
Oh no, I'm trying to do the right thing by downloading all the world's porn. So if I download it all, then I'll stop the other kids from watching it. Then there'll be nothing left to watch. It's like a community service. It's like, oh no, not another porn video.
You're shooting for a Nobel Peace Prize with that effort right there. So another follower wanted to know: would you prefer to fight an opponent who is more kick heavy or is more of a boxer?
Oh, good question. Good question. They each bring different elements. So training accordingly. I have to change my game plan every single fight because, like just like that question, sometimes they bring punches, sometimes kicks, sometimes clinch. So you always have to adapt to the situation. But I'm happy either or. If they're a puncher or a kick, and if they're a kick or a punch. So I just do the opposite of what they do, and it works. Yeah.
And the last question from our fans was, what would you tell someone who's looking to get into Muay Thai or looking to start learning? What's some inspirational words or thoughts that you would give them as they start their journey?
Enjoy the process. You won't be a world champion straight away, but the fact that you get to go to the gym daily, you get to hang out with the crew daily, you become a team. You become more than a team. You become a family. So even when I'm not fighting, if someone else has a preparation, everyone's helping that one person become the best person, the best version of themselves. And then we'll all go and support that person when they fight. And then hopefully I get that same support when I fight. Then I'll support whoever else is fighting. Yeah. And then you can't wait to see that person again the next day, so you can start the process all again. All right, chuck on your shoes, we'll go for a run. Let's all go sparring. You just have a bond with people that people outside the sport can't understand. Especially when you're trading blows and you're trying to take someone out in sparring, and then as soon as the bell rings, you're back to being friends again. It's quite a unique relationship, but it works. It's a great way to have lifelong friends forever. It's really cool.
Nothing really builds a bond like punching someone in the face.
Yeah,
I gotta say. Well,
yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us and answering these questions. And again, thank you for being a legend in Muay Thai, showing the world that a Westerner can go hang and bang with those ties.
Yeah, and very, very fortunate to be in the career that I've been on. And yeah, like you said, my goal now that I'm coming to the end of my career is to try and influence people to fulfill their own dreams, to not give up, and to have the enjoyment of traveling the world and competing and just living the awesome lifestyle that the Muay Thai brings.
You heard it from him, folks. Learn the lifestyle, learn to love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. We spend a lot of time putting these videos together. So if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And give this video a like and to share to anybody you think might like it. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions on the video, go ahead and leave a comment. We make sure to read them all. Thanks, and see you next time.